G'day, my name is Jeremy Snyder. I'm an Indonesian teacher and a board game enthusiast, and I've designed a board game called Monumental Indonesia. Keep in mind that this is a prototype, and so components are not final, graphic design is not final, and the artwork is not my own and is also not final. Let me take you to the table and show you how to play. First, the setup. To set up a game of Monumental Indonesia, you first place the board in the middle of the table and put the 20 monument tokens to the side. You then give each player 750,000 rupiah and put the rest of the money to the side. Then place the transport and building contract decks near the board and deal out 5 of each, which form the available cards for each of these different types. Transport cards and the building contract cards. 4 and 5. Click your fingers so that the money moves out of the way, and then if you're playing a 2 or 3 player game, place a monument already in Jambi, Matapura, Makassar and Bandung. I'm setting up a 2 player game, so I will also place a monument in Palembang, Surabaya, Mataram and Jayapura. Then place the point tokens on their respective places. Palu, Samarinda, Bima, etc. If you're playing a 2 or 3 player game, put the point tiles for the spaces that already have a monument in them to the side. You will not need them in the game. Then place 1 pawn for each player in the capital city of Jakarta. Each player is dealt 4 building contract cards, from which they choose 2 to keep. The remaining cards are put back in the deck, and then the deck is reshuffled. Then place 1 diversity bonus point tile per player near the board and put the rest back in the box. They will not be needed in this game. The person to have visited Indonesia most recently will become the start player. And if that's a tie, randomly select the starting player. And that's the setup. In Monumental Indonesia, players will be racing around Indonesia using different types of transport, collecting sets of building contracts in order to build monuments in different regions. The first player to build their 5th monument will trigger the end of the game, but points are awarded based on the places where people build their monuments, and there is a bonus at the end of the game if you have built each of your monuments in a different region. On a person's turn, each player will get 4 action points to spend. Action points represent the time it takes to do an action. Except, in the first round, the first player will only get 2 action points, the second player will only get 3 action points, and then after that, everybody will have the total 4 action points. One action you can do is visit the travel agent. To visit the travel agent, you grab one of the available transport cards, place it in your hand, and it takes 2 action points to do so. You then replace the card you selected with the top card from the transport deck. Another action you can do is gain a contract. To gain a contract, it takes 2 action points. You grab one of the building contract cards from the available building contract cards and replace it with the top card of the building contract deck. It's quite common that on a turn you will just grab 2 cards, maybe 1 transport and 1 building contract, 2 building contracts, or 2 transport cards. The third action you can do is corruption. For corruption, it takes 0 action points. You spend 100,000 rupiah and you get to replace all of the cards in one of the decks with 5 new cards. This can be very handy to get the cards that you like, or even to put cards that your opponent would not like into the available cards. Another action you can do is use one of the transport cards from your hand. For example, this person can play the Kapal, which costs 4 action points and 250,000 rupiah, but allows them to move 2 water paths. These black lines are water paths. I'm always orange, so my opponent would be green, so they could go 1, 2, or they could even go 1, 2. to get from Jakarta all the way over to Padang or all the way over to Pontianak. Once you've used your card, it goes into the discard pile. Other transport cards are the Perahu, which allow you to move one water path for 2 AP and 100,000 rupiah. Kereta Api, which allows you to move 1 to 3 adjacent spaces for 1 AP and 200,000 rupiah. The Object Online, which allows you to move 1 adjacent space, it costs 3 AP and 50,000 rupiah, but after that you can gain a transport card from the available cards for just 1 AP. We've also got the BIS, which allows you to move 1 to 2 adjacent spaces for 2 AP and 150,000 rupiah, or the Pesawat, which allows you to move from a major city to a city, or from a city to a major city, or between 2 major cities for 500,000 rupiah and only 1 AP. This is very expensive, but an efficient way to get across the country. On your turn, you can spend 4 action points, i.e. your entire turn, to build a monument. To build a monument in a village represented by a square, you need to have 1 matching card. If you are building a monument in a town instead, represented by a circle, you need to have 2 matching cards. Cities, represented by a circle with a dot in it, is 3 matching cards, and the major cities of Denpasar and Jakarta, represented by a star, you need to have 4 matching cards to build a monument there. Green is in Pontianak, which is a village represented by a square. So green can spend 1 building contract card to then grab the point token from Pontianak, place it face down in front of them, and then place a monument in that space. You may never build a monument in a place that already has a monument. Green now has their first points tile, getting them closer to having the 5 they need to trigger the end of the game. However, this points tile is only worth 3 points. There are 2 more actions that you can do on your turn. In Indonesia, if you are travelling and you visit family, they usually give you money to help you keep travelling. So, for 4 action points, you can visit relatives by grabbing 500,000 rupiah, but this is your entire turn. Or, you can do a quick visit for 1 action point, and in this case you only grab 50,000 rupiah. Another example turn, I might visit the travel agent, which takes 2 AP and allows me to grab this Pesawat card and gets replaced immediately. I then use the Pesawat card, which takes 1 AP and costs 500,000 rupiah, which I pay to the bank. And then I can fly from this major city, Jakarta, all the way over to Manokwari, which is a city. And I discard the transport card. I then have 1 remaining action point, so I can do a quick visit and grab 50,000 rupiah. I'm now set up to build a monument in Manokwari on my next turn because I've already collected 3 Papua building contract cards, and that's what I need to build a monument in a city in Papua on my turn. Play then continues until one player has built their 5th monument. Each other player then has 1 more turn to hopefully build another monument. Players then reveal their point tiles, and if each tile has come from a different region, then you get a 5-point diversity bonus. Players then add up all of their points, and the player with the most points is the winner. If there is a tie, then the person with the most money amongst the tied players is the winner. If there's still a tie, then the tied player with the most monuments built is the winner. If there's still a tie, then the tied player with the most cards in their hand at the end of the game is the winner. If there is still a tie, then it's a tie. And that's how you play Monumental Indonesia. If you are interested in this game and you'd like to help me publish it or help me with graphic design, please contact me, duabudaya@gmail.com. Otherwise, please like it and share it and comment on the video down below because that helps get the word out there too. Terima kasih, sampai jumpa.